All right, everybody, we're here with the rerun of the week 6 match. We're gonna be going into game 2 here because the servers crashed after game 1, and so we're gonna have to be playing this set onward from game 2. We just got out of picks and bans here. Ruler, how are you feeling about these comps?
They're both relatively balanced. Gonna have to see how the Ymir plays. I know he's, kind of feast or famine in that regard. You're either really good early on the Ymir or you don't do a whole lot. So definitely gonna have to see a little bit of how that works there. Other than that, nothing too crazy on these team comps here. Definitely a lot of healing from We Need Words. Drafted just a ton of sustain, so gonna have to be a little careful there looking into sieging those fights from Team Tonight.
Yeah, something to note here is that We Need Wards doesn't have the full roster from last time. Jack is missing, so we'll be having Epic Ego sub in for him in that carrier role. Hopefully he can put on that same great performance we expect from Jack in that role.
Yeah, and I love to see fresh blood in these games, That's what this league is all about, getting these newer players into this. And that's what we want to see, more players playing. Pretty soon we'll be hoping for, a lot more teams going into season 4. So, time will tell.
Time will tell indeed. It looks like we're going to have a pause here going on. So we got a little bit more time to talk about, these comps and how they're gonna develop here. I'm looking at these looks like we're gonna start, but I'm looking at these comps and I'm kinda really liking We Need Wards' draft here.
You see, I was starting to think the opposite. I'm really starting to favor Team Denied if they're really able to get what they want done.
Mm-hmm.
You have the big front line from Ymir and Cthulhu really able to put out a decent amount of damage while being tanky, and then having the Ravana to instantly jump in, go for that pick. Apollo can ult in on the back of a fight. They could really just do a lot with that frontline distance that Ymir and Cthulhu can create.
I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit. I think they're both gonna struggle really hard with that Rama pick, but that's what you want to see in a draft. You want to see two teams, really good draft. You want to so we can get into a nice, strong game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love to see reasonably balanced, teams and games. Always exciting to see game 3s come out.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how these comps develop here as the game goes on. We're seeing a little bit of a just not really a fight, but a little bit of poke coming down from We Need Wards as they're trying to get them off those harpies there. It doesn't gonna work successfully though.
Yeah, it doesn't, manage to get them off of them. They do go ahead and pick those up and secure just a slight gold lead.
Ever so slightest. We're just kind of, this is how the early game works. The jungler kind of roaming around. Everyone just kind of doing the dance, trying to find a slight edge so that they can get something going here.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody just looking to get just those small things to really help them out in this early game. Now, one thing I'd love to talk about is this Ra, Ra going into this, mid 2v2. It's just going to be able to really sustain so the Pele can get a little bit more aggressive, lose some of that health, and just get it right back. So I'd love to see, them really force that mid 2v2 for longer than maybe normal.
We're seeing a nice little fight over these oracles here. And it looks like We Need Wards is just going to give that up. He probably saw that the Ymir was rotating and just decided to back off and not risk it.
Yeah, I mean, you start rotating onto the oracles. Maybe you don't know how many people are coming. The Apollo might come too, and then all of a sudden you're just giving them a free kill because you wanted to fight over a neutral objective.
For sure, man. That's always how it tends to go down. Look at the solo lane here. It's the same old, same old. Everybody expects the slap fight, and we're here to show it to you. Nothing too much gonna happen here, although we might be seeing a little bit of a blue buff invade. Yeah, it looks like he's going for it. We see that Pele is trying to help him out there. Looks like he could be trying to get a collapse on there, but he does not have the mana to really help out.
And
So he's just going to kind of stay
able
away
to
from that.
secure it. He is able to get that steal and not punished at all. Get a little bit more pressure on the Sun Wukong too. Sun Wukong roughly out of mana, and he doesn't have a mana buff to help sustain that, so he might have to back and lose some pressure in this lane.
Let's cheese it.
Looks like in the duo lane, Kuzenbo got poked down a little bit. He still does have a potion, and Ymir doesn't. So in the long run, it won't be too much. But we see Pele coming around looking for a gank. Looks like she was spotted, and they're just going to head on out of there.
Yeah, definitely can't be, too careful in this early game. You love to see a little bit of aggression, but both teams just have to, just play this safe and farm to make sure nothing crazy goes on. As we see possibly a pause here as the red buff just goes crazy looking to beat that Pele.
Looks like it might be a little bit of lag instead, or a spectator bug there. Is that red buff was
it was going
ham. He's going ham.
He
He's going in.
Stopping.
We see Kuzenbo already rotating, and Ymir's kind of sticking around. I don't know what the goal is there. Well, what do you think's going on there?
He's really just looking to exert that pressure that he got from that blue buff invade. They both have that finished boots. And Cthulhu says, "I have a blue buff. I'm gonna fight into you," but it's not working too well as he goes to get ganked here.
Yeah, we see him.
Relatively strong.
Yeah, Cthulhu is really strong here, but Limey is not trying to let him get that kill. He's going to go up into that ultimate. He just transformed out, and Limey is going to pick up the first blood here up against Sam Cobra in the solo lane.
Yeah, and that's really the dangers of trying to go for that proxy there, Sun Wukong didn't just say, "Okay, I'll go get the wave in front of me." He said, "No, I'm going to fight you here." And he's able to secure that kill after crashing and rotates over to assist.
Yeah, although we are going to see a rotation here coming out from this Ravana, and it looks like he is going to go in. He's going to get out, though, as we moved over to this mid lane here to catch Spooky getting killed there from the Thoth.
Yeah, definitely strong in the early game, able to put out a ton of poke damage, using his one to great effect, resetting the cooldown, just because of the nature of the ability, so it can be very strong in this early game.
100% there. I mean, as we saw, that's a product of what you just said. Just being able to get that early pressure out. I'm sure Ymir had a hand, probably froze him up, made it real nice and easy to put all that damage out there.
Yeah, for sure. And right now we're not seeing anything crazy going on. Holdback, thought we do see, yeah, just the Soul Eater on Sun Wukong. Nothing serious. We see Kuzenbo opt for the tank boots instead of the cooldown boots that the Ymir has. I think both are, definitely viable. I love the crowd control reduction on tanks, but at the same time, it looks like he's still getting poked out pretty hard, and Ymir's gonna have that freeze up more often.
I think it's good for the both of them. I mean, having Ymir having those powerful abilities like his wall, his freeze up more often is obviously really good for him. Whereas Kuzenbo can kind of get away. He wants to be a little tankier, stay in those fights for longer, just because his presence is so annoying.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think they're, both good options. It really just comes down to preference on whether you want that little bit of extra bulk or, the faster rotation on abilities.
100%. Looks like there is a little fight going on in the solo lane. Limey's getting a little low, but other than that, there's just not really much action going on on this map here. Both teams are playing extremely cautiously. And as I say that, we see Peaceful picking up another kill. He's got both of his team's kills there. And he's going to be a little bit of a problem for We Need Wards if they don't shut him down.
Definitely. Thoth from ahead is, really deadly, able to put out just a ton of damage from a massive range as he is forced to beat by the Kuzumbo there. Going to retreat, takes quite a bit of damage from the rock, but he's just gonna, you know, shoot back some projectiles to make sure that he is going to get out of there safely.
Yeah, and we're just, wow. Both these teams, you know, even though Team Denied does have the slight edge here, I don't think it's really enough for it to matter. We're just still in like the beginning phases of this game, and both teams are really too scared to commit to anything, honestly. Most of the kills we've seen here are getting caught out. We saw Sun Wukong catching out Sam Koba going for that proxy there, and we've seen Spooky get caught out in the mid lane by Ymir, and we also saw Pele getting caught out and getting just deleted by Thoth in the mid lane.
Yeah, you know, it's, you know, Thoth a little bit unconventional, you know. A comfort pick for Peaceful Mind. He's, you know, had great results on it, so it could be a little bit hard to deal with, you know, not looking at one of those, you know, more meta mid laners that people are used to fighting in this league, you know, the Merlin, Persephone, things like that, where you just have the practice against it.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing about Thoth is that he isn't played that often. Especially, I mean, in this league particularly. So when, oh, looks like I might have to interrupt myself. Limey is very low. Just can't really do anything about Cthulhu sitting in between his towers.
Yeah,
but we are going to see a rotation on him.
Cthulhu went for the lazy back, stopped him, but looks like it might have been a good idea giving the team time to rotate over, and they do go ahead and take him down. Meanwhile, Peaceful Mind goes ahead and gets another kill onto Spooky, really making a big deficit in that middle lane.
Yeah, Peaceful is trying to prove something here as he's 3-0, a level up on Spooky. They're going to go for this Gold Fury here. They're about 10 minutes into the game. And this is a little bit of, this is the start of something more for Team Denied. I think that they're going to try and really push this all that they can go.
Yeah, it looks like we need Ward doing the standard revenge there. Of saying, okay, you got gold here, I'm going to take Fire Mancer. However, I think, I don't know if Thoth just backs, I wasn't sure if they had that rewarded. Kind of a little hard to see from my perspective, but does not go for the steal over the wall.
Yeah, he's not going to go for it. He's just going to take the safe route. I mean, he could have gotten caught out. I think it might have just been beneficial to just throw one or two of them over the wall just to see if he could get the steal, luckily, but he's just going to go ahead and back off.
Yeah, I mean, you know, better safe than sorry. You push yourself out of position a little bit, and you could just, you know, end up taking a big loss for it, so safe doesn't hurt.
I agree with that, but aggression also doesn't hurt. I mean, we're looking at that solo lane. You know, you're seeing Cthulhu and Limey going at it, and you would think that Limey's winning that lane pretty good. He's up 1-0, and Sam Koba's 0-2-0. But what we're actually seeing, like in the actual game, is that he's not been winning at all.
Yeah,
like
no. He's been really able to deal with that lane as we see him ult into the mid. They're just going to go ahead and disengage off of that, take the back camps.
That's what you got to do. I mean, right now, what we're seeing is them just kind of dance around, trying to find stuff. And it looks like they're going to go for a dive here, as we see Ravana coming in on that Ra, but he's not going to be able to find anything. Looks like they're going to try and re-engage here a little bit, or at least stand their ground back at this tower.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing like I was talking about at the beginning, Winged Wards has a ton of sustain on that team, you know, with the Pele lifesteal, Ra healing. You know, Sun Wukong has the ult as well as the Soul Eater. Rama has lifesteal, so they really have a lot of staying power if they, you know, don't get immediately bursted down.
I agree 100% here, although we see Apollo going in on this back line here. He's going to pick up Trash Panda. Kind of getting caught out there.
Yeah, the Apollo using the ult to great success, saying, okay, I was in lane, now I'm not. Look, I'm making a team fight and still getting my farm, and that's really what you want to see from Apollo, using that ult effectively to just say, okay, I got an ult, it's got a cooldown, I'm going to use it.
Yeah,
and we see the Berserker shield, and it looks like they're going to, both ADCs are going to pick up the Berserker shield. Now, I know that you play ADC, how do you feel about that?
I personally love Berserker Shield. I think the item. I think a lot of people tend to underrate the item. The stats it gives, especially for a pretty solid cost, especially in the ADC role, it's cheaper than Kins. It's cheaper than quite a few of the items that you get. Not cheaper than a lot of them, but it's cheaper than a few that you tend to pick up in that role. And it gives you really nice dueling potential. And against a comp, or it also gives you really nice potential to peel for yourself against a jungler. It really helps you stay in a fight and stick around while also not sacrificing all that much on damage.
Yeah, definitely. I would say an underrated item for sure. I mean, we don't see it picked up every game, but it certainly fits my playstyle of being, you know, just a little bit tanky while still being able to put out enough damage to kill people, so I like the item.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, both of them have it finished now. It looks like we might be seeing a 2v2 skirmish here go on as we see Trash Panda getting deleted there. Kuzumbo ulting around, trying to get away. We see Apollo up in the air, but he's going to try and find some. Ooh, we see him getting out with just the teeniest bit of health. And it looks like we're just going to see Team Denied pick up a nice little kill there and just get out scot-free.
Yeah, they, you know, get the clean one pick. Don't lose any. Get a little bit low, but nothing too serious there. However, they do get another good engage on Limey over there. Not able to get the kill, but again, forcing him out. And that's going to give them just a little bit more pressure, looking towards maybe that Pyromancer, maybe that Primal Fury. Let's hope they're able to do something with that, you know, small lead there.
I mean, what we're seeing from Team Denied is just the standard game of competitive Smite. You pressure them a little bit, maybe get a pick, and then you go grab some farm. And it's just been working out really well for them.
Yeah, for sure. They've just been playing really clean, you know, not really having too much of a style other than, you know, just being maybe a little cautious. A little more cautious than other teams, but you know, you have some teams that are really distinct in their style, like, you know, they're super aggressive or they're super counter engaging, and they're really not showing anything like that.
Although it looks like we're gonna find another skirmish here as we see Trash Panda coming around on that backline, kind of being able to sneak up in there, and Spooky's gonna pick up a kill, but Killjoy is gonna pick up a kill on Trash Panda there. We see that Cthulhu wreaking havoc in the backline. Tabo barely, it looks like he's gonna barely escape again. That Cthulhu is all on his own for now, but we see the rest of Team Denied looking to back him up, and Spooky's gonna try and get out of there.
You see Rom head up into the sky, looking to get damage on the Cthulhu, but he's not able to get the kill. Spooky goes down in that fight. Apollo ult in onto the Rom, not quite able to finish out the kill either, and it looks like they are going to go onto that Primal Fury.
That was another just it just seems like We Need Wards just isn't fighting that well. I mean, from what we're seeing in this game here, we have, you know, both Spooky and Trash Panda dying in most of these fights. That time it went a little bit better. Trash Panda was able to pick up a kill, but it's still not what we want to see from We Need Wards. If they want to stay in this game, they need to be getting more or doing more with these fights than they're currently doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're just not quite able to find those, and as, you know, the lead starts to progress just a little bit more, they're going to struggle more and more in these fights, so if they're really going to need to, start trying to switch things up just a little bit more and maybe, try to counter their playstyle.
Yeah, I hope we can see the adjustments made from them as we're going to kind of go back into that awkward little dance phase after a fight. Team Denied just kind of resetting the map, looking for something to do. Looks like they're going to try and ward up Fire Giant. And, looks like that's about it. They're just going to try and ward it up, make sure that, they have control of the vision on that side of the map, so if they do want to go for that Fire Giant, they have the ability to.
Yeah, and I mean, approaching the 20-minute mark, you have a pretty substantial lead, looking at right around 4,500. So definitely could be looking to take that down pretty soon, or even just bait a fight around it. You have the lead, make them fight into you. So both obviously good strategies, and just making sure they can't sneak anything also viable.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like we are going to see a little bit of fight. The raw ult is going to come out, but it only is going to hit that Ymir there, and that's just not good for what you want from We Need Wards. Hitting raw on just a tank isn't really good, although they are going to pick up the kill on the Ravana there, and we see Cthulhu also out of position, but it is extremely. He's just going to ult. He didn't really take any damage either. Apollo is in on that backline, and he's going for that Rama. He's going to pick up that Rama, and he's just going to try and cause havoc there, although he might be in a tricky situation as we see the rest of We Need Wards trying to collapse on him. It's not going to happen, though, as Team Denied is there to save their carry.
Yes, Amcrober did an excellent job there, taking that Tiger form from the Sun Wukong, making sure he cannot get that stun onto Killjoy.
I agree 100%. Sam Cobra with a nice play there, quite possibly keeping his carry alive there. Although as we are going to go in, we're going to see the rest of this fight. Raw ult coming out again, and it's just not going to really be able to accomplish all that much. Cthulhu is in a little bit of a spot, but he's just going to be able to get out pretty much for free as the rest of his team's got his back there.
Yeah, one of those things that I'm seeing right now is the Ra actually has the Lotus Crown, so he's not really doing as much damage as you would like him to. He has the physical defense, but how good is that when, you're facing 3 magicals? The Cthulhu is walking at you, the Thoth you're leaning against him, and the Ymir is also, lurking around that mid lane, so might not be the best choice there.
Yeah, with both Killjoy and Thoth being pretty ahead here, it makes it very hard to choose whether or not you want to build physical or magical.
Yeah, I mean, definitely still a good item on Ra. The extra protections while you use that 3 is certainly nice for the whole team, but you might want to have just a little bit more damage before you start going into that more supporty item.
Yeah, although it looks like they're going to posture up to try and find a dive onto him. And Ymir's going to throw out that wall. He's not really going to find anything. They're just going to turn around and get what's important, that tower there instead.
Yeah, looking for the tower. And, towers are important, a couple hundred gold thankfully does not hurt to get. And that is just going to further their lead going into this. As we see another pick into mid, Ravana taking out the Pele there. Ra off the mark on the Searing Pain. Rama looking to get the ult off, not quite able to find the kill.
Apollo up in the air, though.
Drops down back into the back line. Finally getting poked out very hard. Might go down. And it does go down because of the Ymir wall. He's not able to escape.
It looks like that's just going to be the end of that, although they might be looking for this Fire Giant here. Not a bad call. 2 of We Need Wards is down. Tabo is also pretty low. He's not really going to be able to do much. But
yeah. Also, the 2
Judgment is nigh.
great from Team Denied there, able to just pressure Spooky enough to where he just had to ult early.
Yeah, I mean, they really did just, take the fight to him and say, you're either going to ult now and try to secure and fail, or you're going to die without ulting. So, good play from both teams there. Now we see Team Denied, looking to continue their pressure. Take those buffs off the map for probably that Gold Fury. That would, be the next logical step as they, look to start sieging down those towers.
Yeah, they got the Fire Giant buff up. They're gonna grab the Gold Fury. It just makes the most sense. You're gonna try and get as much as you can off this Gold Fury or off this Fire Giant, and that's just the first natural step.
And now they are grouped up on this left side. Kuzumbo is forced to ult out for safety there, and it looks like they're gonna be able to go ahead and just start putting pressure on that left here too. Don't have the minions there, but they do have the reduced backdoor protection, so Tara's going to go down very quickly.
Yeah, with that tower going down, we're just going to kind of see him rotate towards this other side of the map. They're going to pick up probably all three of these towers here, as We Need Wards is going to make never mind, they aren't going to make a smart play. They're going to try and find an engage on him. I think what they need to be doing here is they need to fight in the Phoenix. I don't think they can really stand up and pressure these tier 2s, or else they'll put themselves in a terrible spot for Team Denied to just scoop them up.
So with the lead we're looking at now, we're looking at, an item and a half on some of these gods, so definitely going to be very hard to win these fights without using that 6th man in the Phoenix. Other than that, nothing too crazy. They're going to have to use the Fire Giant only on this, Oni not going to be coming up for quite a while. Maybe we can get timers on those. I believe it's F7. Ah, there we go. That's what I want to see. Yep.
Yeah, get that gear respawn for 3 minutes, as well as that Fire Giant spawn in 2.5 minutes.
Yep. That means that they only have another minute and 20 seconds, so running out of time a little bit on this siege here as they look to make some things happen on this right lane. They will make the space as Apollo is just able to free auto onto that. It's hit by the raw ult, but again, with that Lotus Crown, he's not doing as much damage as you would like. They're able to just get in there and get that Phoenix down.
Yeah, they get that Phoenix, so that they're also going to find a pick there. We see Ymir going in with a nice ultimate as well as a nice stun. They might be able to get a second pick here, and it looks like they're just going to try and end the game here. Never mind, I misspoke. They're just going to go for some more Phoenixes here.
Yeah, I definitely think that, going for those Phoenixes is a play. Ending with 3 people is a little bit hard,
It is the much safer call.
For sure, definitely. I mean, at the same time, though, not ending the game gives, We Need Wards a chance to make a miracle comeback. Killjoy does pick up Tabo there. Rom goes into the ult, finds 2 on the Cthulhu, not able to find the 3rd, does not get the kill, and he falls down. Now it is only Ra here for another 8 seconds. It looks like this will be game number 2 for Team Denied as they finish out this set. No, they come back. Miami, Crash Panda are here.
They're gonna be Titan. Get a kill, but Killjoy's gonna pick up a kill, and actually the Titan is just going to fall there. This is a very strong performance from Team Denied there.
Yeah, and a valiant effort to try to save that Titan, but We Need Wards just not quite able to find the damage to push Team Denied off, and that is going to be the end of the set. Fortunately, we only have 1 game for tonight. They did play last week, but Smite servers being Smite servers decided to crash mid-set, so we had to go ahead and finish it today.
Looks like we'll be having the interviewer in here already. Sam Cobra, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. We were all feeling pretty hyped. We felt like that was a pretty clean 2-0. It was weird because of, unfortunately, the Smite servers last week. But no, we felt good. I think we all played really well as a team. We followed our calls and played it pretty safe.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to talk about is, you in the solo lane, the stat line doesn't look great. 0, 2, and 9, 9 assists,
looks
not bad,
beautiful.
but you actually did so much more work than that. You won lane while you were down 2 deaths, and he was up a kill, and that was just, different play. You just continued that aggression, pushing onto him, and is that something you were really looking for?
I
Lose
mean,
kills, win lane?
I wasn't worried about the ganks. Like, first of all, they had like 2 or 3 people rotate, and I was proxying every time, so I was getting all my farm. Early game, like I actually was still ahead of him, even though I had the 2 deaths, even though I gave up first blood. Like I wasn't worried because, like first of all, Wukong had to back for all those as well, so he loses out on farm. And then even if he stays, he's double splitting it with Pele, and I get the wave already before I die. And then they had like 2 people rotate over to solo side, and we just got Gold Fury for free. And then like so I was never worried. Like I was totally fine on them. Like I know that I'm gonna be doing Cthulhu things regardless. And so yeah.
Speaking of doing Cthulhu things, you were doing a phenomenal job in the second part of the game, just being Cthulhu. Um, did you guys assume? I know the draft happened last week, but how are you guys feeling just when you were able to pick up that Cthulhu in the draft?
Well, um, I think that we have players that have good comfort on a lot of the high value picks, and so we kind of force pick bands to let something through. And whether it be whatever, like whether it be peaceful or killjoy or me or any of us can like pop off on any picks that we and strong picks. So I think we just allow that. Picks and bans makes it kind of hard. We're gonna get something good.
Well, Ruler, do you have any more questions for Sam here?
I don't really have a ton. I think now is about the time if you have any shout outs you want to throw out there, Sam.
Shout outs to my team. Shout outs to Killjoy for subbing for me for game 1 at 6 o'clock because I was busy in a ranked game. So big shout outs there, and the cast. But yeah, I think we've been doing great. We shout outs to Karma. Karma and I switched roles. It's been fun. I think we've been liking that setup more, and yeah, looking forward to season 8 coming out soon.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely excited about season 8. Not season 8, season 4, week 8 coming into this. So definitely excited.
All right, fellas. Well, that is going to be all for tonight. We had a very stacked day with 3 games, all great games. And if you haven't seen those, go check them out. They'll be on our YouTube channel pretty soon. Look up youtube.com/reapsmiteLeague.com. We'll see you around, and we'll see you on that YouTube channel. I'm Muffin Man with Ruler of Men. We'll see you next week.